Alright, here's a video for the how to do the front brakes. I'm going to go ahead and start off with a tool breakdown. All the tools you're going to need is an 1/8 inch punch. Doesn't really have to be an 1/8 inch punch, just basically something small enough that you can get the pins out of the caliper. 1/8 inch punch will work perfect. Basically anything long and skinny that's about 1/8 of an inch will pretty much do the same thing. Then you got a hammer. Doesn't have to be quite as big as this. Basically something to tap the punch to push the pins out. If you're replacing the rotors, you'll need a socket wrench with an 18mm socket, and that's pretty much it. If you're just switching out your pads, you will only need the hammer and the punch, and that's it. Alright, so now we'll go ahead and get started on doing the front brakes. Alright, now we're on to our first step to remove the front brakes. We got our pins right here. This is what holds your pads in. So we're going to go ahead and use the 1/8 inch punch again. Got our hammer. Go ahead and line our punch up. Got to be kind of careful with these ones because they're tapered. Go ahead and just lightly tap the pin back. And move on down to the bottom one. And once you get it back far enough, you can just go ahead and pull them right out the back. Get them out, then you're going to remove your spring here, which holds the pads down, and then go ahead and pull your pads away from the rotor there. Do it a couple times and you'll go ahead and be able to pull your pads right out. From this step, if you are just replacing the pads, you'll be able to go ahead and get your pistons pushed back in, which on the front, seeing as they're bigger and heavier duty, probably going to want to use a C-clamp or that special tool that someone posted that fits on either side right here, and we'll spread those apart. Or if you're on a budget there, you can go ahead and get a pry bar. Slide your pry bar in there, being very gentle. Go ahead and push those pistons in one by one. I'm not going to do any of those methods right now because I'm going to take this off because I'm replacing the rotor also. So we'll go ahead now and we'll take the caliper off, and then we'll be able to slide the rotor off. Alright, so now we're going to show you these bolts here. Go ahead and remove this one down here. And then up top here, you're going to have one right here. These are both 18mm. So I'll go ahead and loosen those two. I'll show you this bottom one again. Loosen those two, and then our caliper should pop right off. Alright, I'm going to show you a quick little trick here. If you have both wheels up in the air, you'll be able to turn your wheel left and right. Especially, it'll be a lot easier if you have both wheels off. But sometimes these are going to be really tight, these bolts. Well, if you have them both up in the air, you'll be able to pull your caliper and actually be turning your wheels to a way where you could actually get a breaker bar back behind here and give you more leverage. You're going to be really close to your fender well, but you'll have more leverage. That way you can go ahead and loosen that. And you could do the same thing for the other side. Just turn it the opposite way. That way it'll give you more exposure to here. Because I don't have mine up high enough, so if I had my breaker bar down here, I'd actually hit the bottom before I would even get any torque on it. Just a little tip for any of you guys that need a little help getting that bolt off. Alright, once you get those two bolts, you should be able to get your caliper up out of the way. Another thing is if you use that tip where you turn your wheel to the side there, once you get those loose, you're going to want to turn it back. That way you can relieve a little tension off of your brake line here, because you're going to stretch it pretty tight when you turn. So go ahead and just do that, loosen them, turn your wheel back, and then go ahead and take your bolts, the remainder out, and go ahead and pull your caliper off. So now that we got our caliper off, go ahead and set that. That way we get some tension off that line. Once again, just like the rears, if you're watching this one first, you don't want to let your caliper hang by this line, because you'll end up stretching it and you could end up breaking your line. So once you get that done, you can go ahead and slide your rotor off. As you can see here, I got a little bit of rust on the back part of my rotor. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and wire brush all this up, clean it up nice, and then I'll put some anti-seize on there. That way my rotor won't end up welding itself pretty much with rust to my hub here. So I'll go ahead and do that, and then I'll show you reassembly. Alright, we're going to go ahead and put some anti-seize on our hub here. That way our rotor doesn't rust itself for the next brake job. So you get yourself some anti-seize. I buy it in the big jug because I use quite a bit. Brush it on. Alright, I usually try to get a rag. And I smooth it out, just so I don't have any globs in there. So go ahead and just smooth it down a little. Just get a nice coating on it. Alright, and now we'll go ahead and throw our rotor on. I'm going to go ahead and remove this when I throw the rotor on. It's only mounted because I was painting it. But I'll go ahead and move that out of the way, show you how you put the rotor on, and we'll go ahead and remount our caliper.